Wait, how much did I spend on accessories? I spent $1,250 in accessories, and this is how you can too. I'm gonna detail all the sparkles and farkles on this bike. Some of these accessories are winners, like this pipe engine guard by Daytona. Others, like this 2.75 by 17 tire, are losers. Let's get into it. Yeah, I've got my socks and sandals on. First, start out with these aluminum bark buster hand guards. These things are amazing. They connect in 2 points, one right here and right under here. So they have a lot of strength, and they've already handled a crash, as you can see right here at 50 miles an hour. This really protected the handlebars and protected the frame as well, because as you turn this all the way to one side, it still has quite a bit of room between the ground and the bike. As far as I know, these are the only hand guards that connect in 2 points to your handlebar. These are definitely winners in my book. Cost for the set of two, $109.95. You know that feeling you get when you thought you've bought all of the accessories you want for the motorcycle? That's what happened with these carbon fiber hand guards. I thought, what the heck, let's put on something pretty and not as functional. This is the most expensive accessory that I bought for this motorcycle. For actual crashes, I'd rather have just plain plastic hand guards built by Barkbuster, so you can get them in carbon fiber and plastic. The plastic is way cheaper. How much did I spend for these bad boys? $184.95. Ouch. Now onto the engine guards. I absolutely struggled figuring out what the best looking and most functional engine guard was, and I settled on these Daytonas. These things are amazing. They're about half again thicker than the stock engine guards, and you can see they have this little jut out here that protects the rest of the controls on the motorcycle. And you can see that during the crash that I had, it did actually hit the ground and protected my brake. The only downside to these is this piece of metal, which protects all the controls, is actually pretty close to your shift lever. And these can be had for the bargain basement price of $140.63. Now let's get into one of my favorite accessories, which is this fuel tank holder and fuel tank. And it cost me over $200, which seems like a lot for an extra fuel tank. It will not break. A lot of those larger fuel tank accessory holders will break over time if you're on rough trails. This accessory comes in 2 parts. The first one is a sub-tank kit by Sonic Crafty. That includes the fuel tank and the bracket that attaches the fuel tank and the tool holder. Once you remove the fuel tank, you'll see the rest of the architecture. So the Sonic Crafty part is all this bracket right in here. Behind that, we've got the Takagawa helmet holder. And that is all of the hardware that actually attaches this into the frame of the motorcycle. And you can see we use the standard toolkit accessory drop, and then it attaches back here to the primary carrier and also back here into the taillight assembly. This makes this an incredibly strong mount. Between that and only carrying about 3 pounds of fuel, this thing is absolutely unstoppable off-road. It's a lot of money, but you will not damage your motorcycle and you will have extra fuel when you get there. The other thing I like about this fuel tank is just look how clean that installation is, and it does not stick out beyond this rack or the engine guard in front. Super clean installation. Let's talk about these passenger pegs by Revolution. They are very complex. They're also very heavy. They are also very expensive, coming in at $97.99. The one thing I do like about them is that it puts the passenger weight fully on the sprung part of the suspension. These foot pegs flip down here and have decent grip. They have a very sharp edge right here, which really bothers me. In an accident, there's a possibility that would come and slice your leg on the other side. Again, you have that super sharp edge right here. These stick away from the motorcycle, which is quite significant. And again, your complicated attachment points throughout. This actually took me close to an hour and a half to install, getting everything right, getting it all lined up and tightened down. Now what's interesting is that the stock passenger peg mounting point is down here. The way it works is you're supposed to drill holes through these tabs and then thread it and then put on the passenger peg. I didn't want to drill into one of the primary frame components of this motorcycle and chose to go this route instead. However, Kemimoto has reached out to me and suggested their passenger pegs, which actually attach in the same position but without drilling through these holes. I'm really looking forward to that review in the next episode. You can't really talk about passenger pegs without talking about your passenger seat. This is the Model 1 by Motion J. This is a great little seat. Cost me $65.99, which is dirt cheap. The thing I like about this is you actually mount it on here from the top, as opposed to most of the seats where you have to reach under the bottom. This actually uses pre-threaded holes in the rack of the Honda Trail 125. This is a great seat. It's also fairly comfortable for what it is. In fact, it's more comfortable than the driver's seat, which is, of course, considered one of the least comfortable seats in the industry. These V-rubber trail tires in 2.75 by 17 were a bit of a disappointment, unfortunately. I had a really hard time getting these to seat properly. They aren't horrible, but they're just a little bit too narrow. And these guys cost me $97.90. I'll be switching these out to the 3.0 by 17 tire. You'll notice on this bike, nothing looks like it's laser cut. I really like the tubular look of the different guards that I have. Here's a Motion J center rack. Really like this thing. Attaches in 3 points, one here, and then one on the other side like this. Feels very sturdy. Definitely can put some weight on this. It's a great place to put different pack items when you have them. $62.99. Let's talk about this headlight guard and top carrier. These are great items. They're made by H2C, total of $108 for the pair. The headlight guard was capable of taking a 50-mile-an-hour impact with a deer, and it protected my light and my gauge cluster. That's a great test for a light guard. And the top carriers come in really handy. I've strapped camera bits to it. I've put additional instruments on it. It's a great place because it's right near the gauge cluster, so I can see everything that's up here. Really like this top carrier, and between the top carrier and the light guard, which is an integrated set, it's very strong, very stable, and very stiff. It's almost like a bumper set for your motorcycle. Here's something that's not necessary. It's an additional heat shield or exhaust shield made by Motion J. I just like the two-tone color between the silver and the black. That'll set you back $47.99. And while we're in the same area, let's talk about this Motion J exhaust crash guard. That's right here. Super solid. I like this better than a lot of the internet stuff because it has true holes going through instead of just sliding mounts. You can see it's attached directly into the frame here and here, up here where the exhaust attaches, and that sucker's strong, so it'll keep your exhaust from bashing into your motorcycle during a crash. $36.99. Here's something a little bit special. It's an endurance side stand enhancer. This is the only reason this motorcycle is upright right now. It prevents the kickstand from digging into the ground too far and allowing your motorcycle to topple over. That cost me $46.29, and it's kind of pretty. The other thing I really like about this is it's got a little bit of thickness to it. As you're upgrading tires, you're going to notice that the bike starts to lean further and further over on the kickstand. Having a little bit of a lift on this means it's not going to fall over too easily. We've got a shift shaft support bracket by Revolution back here. This allows my shift shaft to not flex as much when I'm shifting. With my heavy duty clutch springs, it definitely helps. That can be had for the bargain basement price of $27.99. Finally, one of the first accessories I put on is this 12-volt power outlet. I have a little video of putting that on. It's weatherproof, only $13.99. It's a custom accessories component that I bought at O'Reilly's Auto Parts. It's great. I can use this 12 volts whenever I want, whether or not the motorcycle is running. Here you can see a quick listing of all the parts, their part numbers, where I purchased them, and the cost. Yeah, $1,250 worth of accessories. Leave a comment below on what you would or would not have purchased.